Here's Billy Carson explaining who Yahweh is.
Yahweh, which is we know is Enlil in the modern day Bible.
Actually, I thought the same thing, but unfortunately I did a deep load of research, and in fact the time frame doesn't even match Enlil. So when you do the amount of research that I've done, you realise it's not Enlil, which was one of the Anunnaki. It is someone different. It's still an Anunnaki. I won't spoil it for you. But if you go to my website, ourtruehistory.co.uk, I have done a 20-minute documentary. And I mean, if you watch my documentaries, they are very, very good. In fact, I'm the guy that told you who Jesus' real father was. I'm the guy that's told you where Atlantis was. I've done so many things and no one's debunked them because I use evidence, proper evidence, real hard evidence. So anyway, go to my website, ourtruehistory.co.uk, type in Bible or whatever you want, Jesus, God, and then scroll down until you find the video that you're after, which will be who Yahweh really was. It's under Bible. There we are. As well versed as I am in the ancient Sumerian tablets, there are many that I've not read. And I keep saying to people, I've not seen them. Even though Zecharia Sitchin has mentioned them, I've not actually read the translations directly myself. And that's because certain places like the Library of Congress, the Rothschilds and the Moorhen collection have managed to get the tablets and translate them. But not all of them has been translated. So, for example, the Moorhen collection here of books is very good because he was allowed after 7 years of trying to get to read some of the tablets from the Rothschilds. They allowed him finally. So he's done some books here that's also audio books. So in other words, I'll probably never get to read the original translations because they're owned by people that don't want us to know. So yeah, that includes the ME tablets as well, which is a shame. Father Bennett, this is for you. Please listen carefully. So although this video here says Father Bennett being nasty to an innocent man, I'm actually talking about something different. This is someone else's video that he's replying to. So on one of my lives just now, I had a person say to me that you blocked him because he asked you about the Anunnaki and you said that you don't deal with rubbish basically on YouTube. So Father Bennett, it's time to call you out, I'm afraid. So here in the Bible, this is the Young's literal translation. If you don't know what that is, then you shouldn't be preaching. Now that I have known that Jehovah, which was Enki, by the way, is greater than all the gods, plural. And they call for the people, this is again further down, and they call for the people to the sacrifices of their gods, plural. You guess where I'm going with this, but keep going, keep coming with me. Because you blocked that person. I will not block people on my live chats. If I don't know the answer, I will say I don't know the answer. So this is for you. And anyone that knows Father Bennett, send him this video because it's time that we cut the rubbish and we get straight to the point. And if thou really forget Jehovah, thy God, and hast gone after other gods and served them. Now, people pick and choose what they want from the Bible. They'll say, no, it's just one God. I serve the one God. I've seen you, Father Bennett, cry on your live chat saying, I serve the one God. I don't do this for money. Yeah, seen you do that. So you're going to pick and choose. So you're going to say, these are not real words, but the ones where it says one God is a real word, but plural is not. Then you'll say, I'm sure, that you'll throw in the old Holy Trinity. However, the Holy Trinity was added 200 to 300 years after the Bible was complete to get around the fact that now there's plural gods, or there was always plural gods. Obviously, Genesis 1:26, you know what I'm talking about there when they created us in their image. Now, it's a copy. Now, the person that you blocked said, do you know about the older texts? And you obviously blocked him because you know in your heart you've got 100% faith, haven't you? No, you haven't. The majority that agrees most surviving texts and fragments on the papyrus and orchestra indicate that the Hebrew scribes borrowed from older Egyptian texts. Now, we've actually got Sumerian, Akkadian, etc. texts. So I'm just going to show you some Sumerian texts here with the word gods. This predates the Bible, and do not say it doesn't. This predates the Bible. And here we're talking about the senior gods oversaw the work while the minor gods were bearing the toil. So the minor gods were the Igigi. In the Bible, you'll know them as the sons of God that stole human women. You know the passage. The sons of God saw that the daughters of man was fair. That is the minor gods. So I'm sorry if a lot of the religious people that's listening to this didn't know all of this, but we actually have the evidence. So the Anunnaki is a name that was given to a group of alien beings which were 8 to 12 foot tall, pale skin, blue eyes, blonde hair. Funny that's where your God comes from, isn't it? Same description. But hey, they came here and they basically needed to mine for gold, to sprinkle gold particles in their atmosphere. Now, I know that sounds silly, but we need to do that now with, or Bill Gates wants to do that now with chalk particles, so it's not that stupid. So, the Ajiji, which translates, if you go and look it up, you'll see that the word Ajiji translates into a couple of different things, but one of them is the Watchers. Hang on a minute, it's all making sense now. So the Ajiji came down and created a human species. So I'm asking Father Bennett to prove this wrong. Don't worry, I'll get there in a sec. So here it talks about in the tablets, Enki and Nimna, about them coming up with the idea to create a race here on Earth to do the mining for them. And basically, if you go and search Enki and Nimna, the actual full translation, which is here, just type in Enki and Nimna, says, "My mother, the creature, which is us, you planned will really come into existence. Impose on him the work of carrying the baskets." This is the first ever language, and they're coming up with things like this. Now, it goes on to show that they actually, look, man's body can either be good or bad. Basically, this is your Bible, everybody. I'm sorry to say this. It is. So, Ivan Finkel, the head curator of the British Museum, has these tablets in the British Museum. And it's basically to do with Noah's Ark, where he reads out the translations that he's translated. He can read it himself. And Noah gets told by Enki to build a boat. In fact, the name on this tablet is Zazudra. And that's what eventually becomes Noah. So Zazudra gets told to build an ark. And it even gives a description of the ark, etc. So, the question is to Father Bennett, can you debunk the tablets that the Bible copied from? If you can't, you need to say sorry to people. If you can debunk them, please do a video showing evidence, just like I've shown. Don't shy away. Do not say BS. Do not block people that's asking you about this video. Show evidence, like I do. Now, there is one more little trick that I can do for you. On YouTube, there's a video called The Lost Book of Our True History. If you look at the title here, it says, "Proof Anunnaki Were Here, Proof They Were Gods," by Our True History, which is me. So if you can show evidence that this evidence is wrong, and I show a lot of evidence, if you can show evidence, then I will delete my video. If you end up showing me passages from the Bible, which is obviously a copy of the older text, and as I say, you can go through. So if anyone's interested, I go through a lot of the ancient Sumerian tablets, etc., which show you the same things as what the Bible does, but without the inconsistencies. The Bible does seem to have 144 plus inconsistencies. So if Father Bennett can watch this, and the reason why I'm doing this, Father Bennett, I don't normally call out people like this bad, but I'm disgusted the fact that you blocked someone simply because you didn't want to answer it. You did not want to answer. I spend hours, 5 hours, sometimes 6 hours on a live answering every single question out. And I've asked you a question before. I have, Mr. Bennett. I've asked you a question about, do you know about, I've even done a TikTok video, so you can go and watch it because I screenshotted it, and you ignored me. So now it's time to fess up and play the game. So I await your evidence. Only evidence. Do not come back with anything else other than evidence. I've given you the evidence. I want evidence.
The Ajiji are the working class Anunnaki. Now, they weren't slaves, but they were kind of treated as...
If you actually do proper research, you'll find that the Ajiji were the sons of the Anunnaki. And basically the Anunnaki's race name was gods, and you'll see that they were the sons of God, as mentioned in the Bible also. So I can show you the evidence of this if anyone's interested, instead of just believing that they were lower class. I don't know what where Billy was going with that, but basically I can show you the evidence. So if you go to YouTube and just type in proof Anunnaki were here, proof they were gods, and that's under my channel Outro History. And so you'll watch the evidence where it shows you the Igigi were the fallen ones, the fallen angels, which were also known as watchers in the sky, and they were sons, not slaves, nothing else other than sons, young Anunnaki.
Did you know that all blue-eyed people are related? And it's because we're all descended from one person.
This person goes on to say that in the past one person had a mutation and therefore everyone with blue eyes comes from them, from the Black Sea area, which just so happens to be where the Anunnaki were, who were pale-skinned, blue eyes and blonde hair, which is what God looks like if you want to describe them, because obviously that's their race name. The Anunnakis were gods. We're humans. So the blue eyes come from Mesopotamia, which was near the Black Sea. And the Anunnaki bred with the Homo sapiens that they'd already created 200,000 years before. And then they actually physically bred with them 200,000 years after they'd created them. And that gave us the pale skin in the Middle East with the blue eyes. So I don't know why people just make up crap instead of actually looking at the evidence, which we've got, by the way. Did you know you've been tricked by people changing the Bible? Look at this. At the beginning, God created the heavens. God created all these different Bibles, except for the Young's Literal Translation, which is literally the translation of it. At the beginning, God's preparing the heavens. Preparing God's, plural. Did you know God taught the other Anunnaki for the first 6 days and then rested on the 7th? It's all here, the cuneiform origins of Genesis. You can go look this up. And basically what it says is on the 7th day, God completed his teaching and he ceased on the 7th day. The teaching that he had been doing. And that basically means that the first 6 days, the Anunnaki were preparing the earth, which it says in the Young's Literal Translation. And that means that they were separating the waters from the waters, in other words, fresh waters from horrible water. They were preparing fowl and livestock. All says it in the Young's Literal Translation. If you read the other Bibles, then you won't have a clue what I'm on about, because they've all been changed. So there you go. Anunnaki here, proof as always. Enki or Enlil, which one was the good or bad one? Well, I know it was Enki because I've read many, you know, guys, how long I've been doing this, 40 years. So anyway, this person's basically said, no, it was Enlil that was bad based on Ishmael Perez's research. So I said, no problem at all. Show me the evidence that Enki was bad and not Enlil. So this person then replied, easy. And I'm like, no, seriously. I had to reply back saying, no, seriously, I'm asking for the evidence. Don't just say easy. Because at this point, it looks like you don't have any, and obviously I do. So please show me the evidence that Enki was bad and Enlil was good. And once you've done that, I will show you a whole amount of evidence that Enki was good and Enlil was bad. So I'm waiting for your evidence. And don't tell me to go and look at Ishmael Perez, because you would have watched whatever or seen whatever he talked about, and you can give me the direct evidence. Otherwise, you just guessed and believed.